Head on over to G2A and enter Kami's Crystal Cave to get some sweet deals on crystals and more. Remember to click on the lowest price and use the promo code KamiVS to get the best deal. G2A. What's going on, everyone? Kami here, and I've got some good news for you Magic lovers out there. I'll be getting my grubby hands on 20 arena codes to give away. That's right, 20. But there's a stipulation. They can only be redeemed at a specific time, and it just so happens this time is during the M19 Early Access event. This is the new set coming out for Magic. This event will be July 11th, or this Wednesday. It'll be between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Pacific Time. So what's going on is Wizard reached out to a bunch of content creators, including me, to play in the early access of M19 on stream. Not only do we get to test out the M19 set early with all of you, but we also get 20 codes to give away. I must stress this though, these codes will only be able to be redeemed during this 4-hour event. It's a bit of a bummer, but I can't argue with free codes to give away to awesome people like you. If anyone's interested in what's coming out in this M19 set, there's a link in the description below showing everything that's already spoiled. There's also a link down there to sign up for the beta in case you can't make it to the event. And lastly, there's a link of my beginner's guide for all of you out there completely clueless on whatever the hell Magic is, but still interested in learning. Now that's about it on the side of the giveaway. I also wanted to share with you a deck that's been around for Standard quite a bit, but I've just found out about it and fell in love with it the minute I saw it. And the gameplay you've been seeing me play in the background this whole time is this deck. It's called Blue-White Gift, and it gets its name for the win con of the deck, God Pharaoh's Gift. Real quick, let's dive into the deck to explain how it all works, and I'll show you a game of me playing it afterwards while explaining why I make all the terrible decisions that I make. So let's start off with the most important card, God Pharaoh's Gift. It's a 7-drop artifact that states, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie, and it gains haste, which means it can attack right away. So essentially, if you're able to get this out during your main phase 1, you go to your combat phase, you can immediately grab something out of your graveyard, put it onto the battlefield, and attack with it. So what are we going to want to be targeting with this gift? Well, that brings us to our next most important card of the deck, Angel of Invention. Angel of Invention is a 5 mana cost creature, 3 colorless, and double white, and it has flying, vigilance, lifelink, fabricate 2, and other creatures you control get +1/+1. Like, what the fuck? For people unfamiliar with Magic terminology, I'll go over each keyword. Flying means that this creature cannot be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. And very rarely are you going to find creatures with reach in this meta, but you will find some flyers. Vigilance means it doesn't tap while you attack. So if you do choose to target your Angel of Invention with your God Pharaoh's Gift, it comes out, it gets haste, it can swing right away, it will not tap, and you can block the next turn if your opponent decides to attack. Lifelink just simply means the damage dealt by this creature gains that much life to you. So if it were to attack with being a 2/1, you'd gain 2 life. If it came out as a 4/4 with the God Pharaoh's Gift, you get 4 life. You get it. But then you have Fabricate, which states when this creature enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, or create 2 1/1 colorless Servo artifact creature tokens. If you're casting this from your hand, you may want to consider doing the 2 1/1 colorless artifacts, but if you're bringing it back with God Pharaoh's Gift, you normally want to go with the 2 +1/+1 counters. This essentially means that instead of it coming back as a 4/4, it comes back as a 6/6 with vigilance, swinging, that's flying, and you also gain 6 life if you actually hit. And you get lifelink even if you hit a creature, if someone tries to block. Oh, and if you create the 2 artifact creature tokens, keep in mind they're not 1/1s, they're 2/2s, because it also has other creatures you control get +1/+1. And it's not legendary, so if you get multiple out there, it's a monster. Phew! Okay, so describing what that one creature can do alone feels like it's about half the description of this deck. But you may be asking, Kami, 7 mana cost for this God Pharaoh's Gift? That's mighty expensive. You are correct, but you forgot about Refurbish! Return a target artifact card from your graveyard to your battlefield. 4 mana cost, 3 colorless, 1 white. If you're able to get your God Pharaoh's Gift into your graveyard and you have a Refurbish in your hand, you could essentially get that 7 mana cost artifact out on turn 4. Insane! So I'm thinking some of you out there, your wheels are turning up in your head and you're starting to get an idea of what the rest of the deck might try to do. And that is getting cards from your hand or your library into your graveyard so you can bring it back out with God Pharaoh's Gift. That's the general idea. But you need to be careful because having a Refurbish in your graveyard is a big uh-oh. So let's quickly go through the rest of the cards that make this deck work. Minister of Inquiries, when he enters the battlefield, get 2 energy, and you can also tap him, pay 1 energy, and target player puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Normally you'll be targeting yourself with this ability, just trying to fill your graveyard up with creatures so you can target it with the gift. Oh, and a side note, energy, those little lightning bolts, think of it as like a kind of a separate form of currency. So once you obtain this currency, energy, energy, it never goes away unless you use cards that spend the currency, which Minister of Inquiries is one of them with this tap effect. The only other card in this deck that spends/generates energy is Aether Hub. So when Aether Hub enters a battlefield, you get an energy. You can tap it just to get colorless mana, or you can tap it and pay an energy, and you can add 1 mana of any color. So Aether Hub is a good way to generate energy for your Minister of Inquiries, or it could just be a mana fix. You're like, oh man, I need another white, or I need another blue. Boom, Aether Hub to the rescue. So the other main way you'll be cycling through your deck, and by cycling, I mean just discarding cards and drawing cards essentially, is through Chart a Course and Strategic Planning. Chart a Course is a sorcery, costs 2 mana, 1 colorless and 1 blue, and it allows you to draw 2 cards. Then you have to discard a card unless you attacked with a creature this turn. So there might be times you have a God Pharaoh's Gift in your hand and a Refurbish, and you want to discard your gift. Well, just play this and choose to discard your gift. But let's say you don't have either of those cards in there and you really want to get a Refurbish and the board is empty and you have a creature, you could choose to attack with your Minister of Inquiries instead of tapping him to put the 3 cards in your library, just so you can fill up your hand as much as possible. It just all kind of depends on the situation. The other card, Strategic Planning, is again 2 mana cost, 1 blue, 1 colorless, and it allows you to look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. A card you'll probably be looking for a lot is Refurbish. That's the 1 card that you really want in your hand and not in the graveyard. Next you have Search for Azcanta. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. Then if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you may transform Search of Azcanta. You don't have to put it into your graveyard. If you really want it, you can just say, okay, I keep it there. Then you go to your draw phase and you draw it. But when it does transform, not only does it turn into a mana that taps for blue, but you can also spend 2 colorless and 1 blue, tap the land with it, and you can look at the top 4 cards of your library and reveal a non-creature, non-land card from it and put it into your hand. Again, another great way to get Refurbish into your hand. And the last card that's really going to allow you to cycle through your deck is Champion of Wits, which is 2 colorless, 1 blue. When he enters the battlefield, you may draw cards equal to its power. If you do, discard 2 cards. So you play him for 3 mana, you draw 2 cards, but then you have to discard 2. You need to be careful with this card because you get to draw 2, so discarding 2 doesn't seem that big of a deal, but there's tons of times I play him, draw 2, and I'm like, oh god, I don't want to get rid of any of these cards. So choose wisely when you play this. But what's great about it is for 5 colorless and 2 blue, 7 mana, you can have it come out and Eternalize. And Eternalize simply means that you exile it from your graveyard, so you cast it from your graveyard, create a token of it that's a 4/4 black zombie with no mana cost. So it's essentially like a God Pharaoh's Gift, but built into the actual card. So when it comes out for a 4/4 and you get to draw as many cards equal to its power, that means you get to draw 4, but you only have to discard 2. Much better. It's also a good card to just discard, bring back with God Pharaoh's Gift, and you don't have to go through the draw 2, discard 2, you only have to draw 4, discard 2. Pretty good card. The other cards are just kind of fillers to allow you to survive the onslaught of an aggro deck, or simply exile a permanent and opponent controls. That's just making your life a living hell. Sunscorched Champion is a 3 mana cost, 2 colorless, 1 white. When you enter the battlefield, you gain life equal to its power, which is 2. So you gain 2 life when you play him normally. You can Eternalize him, which means he will come back as a 4/4 black zombie, you know, just like God Pharaoh's Gift. But you have to discard a card to do so, which normally sucks, but sometimes can be huge if you're looking to try to get a God Pharaoh's Gift from your hand into your graveyard or something along those lines. Really good synergy with the deck, and of course he comes back as a 4/4 black zombie, so you get 4 life when he comes back from the graveyard. You could of course bring it back with God Pharaoh's Gift, so he comes back as a 4/4, but you don't have to discard a card. Really good against aggro decks. Cast Out says when Cast Out enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until Cast Out leaves the battlefield. You can also cycle it for 1 white, which means you have it in your hand and you really need to draw an answer and the opponent's just playing out stuff and you're like, I'm not even going to be able to survive by turn 4 to play this. You can pay 1 mana, discard it, and then draw a new card. Oh, this card could be so good. Oh hey, nice to Fury.
Cast Out.
Nice, dude. Is that a Scarab God?
Cast Out.
Wow, Mr. Red Deck Win player. You just exhausted your entire hand in 4 turns and slammed out a Hezret onto the...
Cast Out.
The best thing about Cast Out is it's a flash. So normally enchantments, you can only be casted on your turn during main phase 1 and main phase 2, kind of like with sorceries. But Flash essentially makes it an instant spell.
Cast Out.
Fumigate is the bane of aggro players' existence. Not only does it destroy every single creature on the battlefield, but you also gain life for every creature that dies. Super good against aggro. It's also super effective at triggering Howdy. So this last card slot is kind of a pick your flavor. I've noticed a lot of decks running different things like Walking Ballista, you know, just kind of whatever, but I've recently switched to Fairgrounds Warden. So Fairgrounds Warden enters a battlefield, you can exile a target creature an opponent controls until Fairgrounds Warden leaves the battlefield. It works kind of like Cast Out, but Cast Out can target anything, even, you know, planeswalkers and whatnot. This one can only do creatures. It's 3 mana costs, 2 colorless and 1 white instead of the 4. but it doesn't have flash, so you gotta play it like a normal creature. I've just been coming across a lot of aggro decks and feel like if I could just stay alive for one more turn, I can get my combo off to start getting a lot of life with my Angel, and Fairgrounds Warden allows me to do that. The last bit is just land, you know, like the Aether Hub we went over already with the energy. We have Ipnu Rivulet, I butchered that name. It can tap for colorless, you can tap it and pay a life to add blue, so it essentially is kind of just a blue mana. Or you can tap it and pay 1 colorless and 1 blue, sacrifice a desert. Normally you just sacrifice this desert. I mean, you definitely just sacrifice this desert because it's the only desert I have in the deck. And the target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Could be used for you. It's kind of another Minister of Inquiries, but instead of 3, it's 4. But you also sacrifice a land, so not really worth it. What it is really good against is Blue-White Approach, which that's a whole another deck, but it pretty much says once you cast this card, you put it back at the top of your deck like 7 cards down, and when you draw it again and you play it again, once you cast the Approach the second stun twice, you win the game. Like, that's their win con. So when you know they're about to draw it, do the land on them and make sure it goes in their graveyard. Then they have to find a whole nother Approach to cast. Then we got some islands, we got some plains, woohoo. What I'm really missing is Glacial Fortress. It's a really good multi-tap land. It's essentially an upgrade version of my Meandering River, which comes in tapped, but it counts as a blue or white. Glacial Fortress counts as a blue or white and will come in tapped unless you control a plains or island, and well, I've got a lot of those. So getting more of these and getting more irrigated farmlands, while they do come out tapped, they count as a plain or island, which works really well with Glacial Fortress, and you can cycle. So if you draw it and you're just like, wow, I need to draw an answer, I don't want to draw another land, pay 2 mana, discard it, draw another card. Cycling, always good. And not only am I missing Glacial Fortresses, I'm also missing a 4th God Pharaoh's Gift, I'm missing a 4th Angel of Invention, so I've kind of had to mess around and change the numbers of some of the cards in this deck. So it's not perfect, but it works. And speaking of things that aren't perfect, my sideboard, it's not finished. I'm still trying to get the reins on how to control this deck, so I haven't went into ranked constructed with the best of 3. But if you have any suggestions on things I can change in the sideboard, or hell, even change in this main board, let me know. And if you want a full deck list, there's a link down in the description below where you can take a look at it. Oh, and if some people are wondering what the hell is a sideboard, so if you play a game that's a best of 3, after your first game, whether you win or lose, you have a moment, I think it's about a minute, and look at your sideboard and think to yourself, what do I want to swap out? So if you have cards in here like Jace's Defeat that counters a target blue spell, and Negate that counters a target non-creature spell, those cards are really good against other control decks. So you'll look through here and think, what do I not really care so much against a control deck? Well, Fumigate's probably not that good. So I would take out a couple Fumigates and I'd throw in a couple Jace's Defeat, and then I'd find other places to fit in my Negate. Now you don't always have to do a 1-for-1 trade. Hell, you could even throw as many sideboard cards you want into the main board deck and slam the go button. But these are the 2 rules you have to pay attention to. 1 is you can only go into a game with a max of 15 cards in your sideboard from the beginning. And 2, the same rule applies that you must have at least 60 cards in your deck when you hit the go button. Generally, people always want to try to keep it down to a 60 minimum, that way you have the best chance to draw the cards that you want. And again, the sideboard is gonna be in the deck list down in the description, my incomplete sideboard that is. So just let me know what you think. Enough jibber jabber, let's jump into a game from the very beginning and I'll walk you through it. Here we go. Alright, here we go, Diggler NZ. And by the way, if anybody's unaware of this, there's a yellow bar right there that's highlighted that shows whoever goes first. So if you're ever wondering, should I keep, should I go, or whatever, your opponent goes first, it tells you that. But if you're going first, actually that's another way you could tell. If it doesn't say your opponent goes first, then you're going first. Durr. Anyway, we've got Aether Hub, remember that can tap for any mana. We can get Minister of Inquiries out, which gives us 2 energy, which feeds our Aether Hub for the ability to keep tapping for other mana that we need. We don't know what type of deck this is going to be, so we're gonna go ahead and keep it because we're gonna be able to draw a land. Maybe we can draw a blue, and if it is a aggro deck, we've got cards that are absolutely brutal against it. Bummer, not what we wanted to see. A blue land, probably gonna be a control deck, but I think we're fine. We'll go ahead and tap this for any color by spending our 1 energy. Now we have no energy, but this comes out, gives us 2 energy, and means we can either tap this, not on this turn because it has Summoning Sickness, we can tap it and pay energy to put the top 3 cards of our library into our graveyard, or we can save that energy and tap it for Aether Hub. I actually think for next turn we're probably going to save it for Search of Azcanta. Oh, we drew a blue mana. Amazing, actually. Hell yeah. So we got our blue mana. We're not going to, do we want to attack? I mean, I don't think we want to put the top 3 cards of our library into our graveyard because we don't have, refurbish, we don't have cards that we want in our hand, and we're going to be able to try to stick our Search to Azcanta. If we can't, we get a counter out of them, and we, once we play that, we can play Sunscorched Champion next turn, and again, just keep getting counters out of him if he wants to use them. He or she, Diggler NZ, No gender assignment here. So we're feeling okay right now. We've got 3 land to play, which means we can get all the way up to our 5 land to play Fumigate, but I mean, Fumigate's kind of a dead card, which means if we go to Eternalize our Sunscourge Champion, then that'll probably be the card we discard. So at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library, you may put it into your graveyard. Then if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you may transform search for Azcanta. Alrighty then, we're going to keep that at our library. So we're gonna draw. And we're gonna draw. I don't think he wants us to draw. Okay, he's gonna let us draw. So here we can either play our white, play our Sunscourge Champion, which will allow us to get things going, get some presence on the field, or we can play our Minister of Inquiries. That way we can tap both of these and do work. I think we're gonna do that. So we're gonna go ahead and play our Meandering River. We'll play our 1 Minister of Inquiry, see if he wants that to stick, and then we're just gonna pass turn and wait for her to see what he wants to do, or the other player wants to do. And at the end of his turn, we'll look to tap this and mill myself, or take the top 3 cards and put it into my graveyard. Mill is actually a term used because it's a win condition. If people didn't know this, when you go to draw a card and you can't draw a card, you lose. So a tactic you can do is to make the opponent just keep discarding cards in their hand / taking cards in their library and putting it into their graveyard. Most of the time, it's more of a fun type of deck. Definitely not great against, you know, top level decks, because they'll either just kill you or just counter everything you want to do. We'll go ahead and wait till this is my turn. We will tap this. This will spend an energy and we'll target ourselves. Let's put those 3 cards in our library. We got through 2 lands and a refurbish. Bummer. Ooh, Angel of Invention. We're definitely going to keep that in our library because we're going to want to play that here soon. This turn we're going to go for Sunscourge Champion. And we're going to leave both of these people untapped. That way we can mill ourselves with 3 cards, which means next time it comes around to us, we'll have 3, 6, 9 cards in our graveyard, so we can transform our Azcanta into the Sunken Ruin, which turns into a land, and we can also tap it, pay 3 mana, and look at the top 4 cards of our library, reveal a non-creature, non-land card, and, you know, do stuff. So we'll play our land, we'll play our Sunscourge Champion. Maybe it sticks, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. This guy's a thinker, I tells you. We'll gain life equal to its power. Not really that important right now. And we're just going to end our turn. Riveting control gameplay. I expect the 4 mana scry to draw 2. No! Cast out.
Cast out.
Gonna cast out my search to Azcanta, huh? What a duty head. So now, since we know we only have 1 search to Azcanta in our deck, I think we're only gonna want to... Hey, I remember that card. Maybe just tap the Minister of Inquiries. Maybe just once, right? Nothing big, nothing crazy. At the end of the turn, I don't know. We just milled past 2 lands and a refurbish. This is a hard decision. This is when it comes to, like, do I do it? Do I not do it? We'll go ahead and do it. Come on, no whammies. This is half the fun of the deck. We got past 3 land. Holy crap, what a good play by me. And we pull a frickin' refurbish. Lettuce tomato. I don't think we really want to draw, or we don't want to... We do want to fly past as many cards as possible because we want to get the refurbish to trigger the gate. So we're just going to attack with the Sunscourge Champion. And he may be tempted to do the 2 mana tap, or, you know, it's like a cast out, but it only works against tapped creatures, blah, 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 if he's running that. I think that would be a pretty good value because he's eliminating this as being a 2/3 threat on the field, and he's also eliminating the ability to come back as a 4/4. But I say that because I just want my Angel of Invention to come out. We need to, he only has 4 cards in his hand. We have a refurbish, and we have the ability to just mill through our deck a lot. So we're gonna go ahead and play our Angel of Invention. If he wants to Essence Scatter it, that's fine. If he has a Syncopate up, Syncopate is different. Syncopate is 1 blue, 1 X, where it means whatever the X cost is, will only allow the opponent to successfully resolve it if they can pay whatever the X cost is. So for example, if he would have Syncopated for 1 blue, 1 X, I wouldn't have any mana up, and it wouldn't have worked. Now, another thing you might be wondering is, why didn't you play the Angel of Invention prior to your Sunscourge attacking? Because it gives +1/+1. Well, yeah, but we wanted to see if he would spend any mana to do anything with the Sunscourge Champion. So he's gonna go with a Fumigate. I kind of expected that, so we're gonna go ahead and mill ourselves here. We got a Sunscourge Champion into the graveyard, along with Refurbish. That's a bit of a bummer. And we're gonna do it again, because we really want to see a gate enter into our graveyard. Come on, gate. There it is. He is tapped out. He's about to have his life ruined. Let's hit that refurbish. Let me double check. I do have a gate in there. God's Pharaoh gift. I keep saying gate, but I mean gift. Sorry. He is tapped out. We'll hit the refurbish. We'll God Pharaoh's gift. We'll go to attack. We will target our Angel of Invention. It'll come out, it'll be a 4/4. I'll choose to either create 2 1/1 artifacts or put 2 counters on it. I'm actually going to put 2 counters on it because I feel like swinging at this dude for 6 damage in the face. What's great about this now is he's got a creature to deal with. It's not going to tap, so we can't use the enchantment that allows him to exile a creature that is tapped. But he's also got to deal with the God Pharaoh's Gift, so that's going to require him to pay at least 4 mana to deal with this. And Gideon of Trials, that is actually a really good answer right there. He's going to be able to target this and make it so the next turn, until your next turn, prevent all damage that target permanent would deal. Really good. But so is the ability to exile a combat at the beginning of your combat, a creature card, and come out as a 4/4 haste. I mean, it's nuts. He's got to find an answer to this quick, or his life is going to be a living hell. And I think we're actually going to chart a course because we draw 2 cards and we may just want to discord if we draw a Angel of Invention. We do not, so we'll just discard the Fumigate and we'll head to combat. He might have a disallow, he could disallow this from happening, but I sincerely doubt he'd want to do that. I don't know what I want to bring back. I mean, we'll go ahead and do this and gain the energy. This thing only has 4 toughness, so, or 4 life rather. So he's gonna come in, we're gonna get 2 energy, we'll also be able to play this, allow us to keep tapping it, and milling more stuff into our graveyard for our God Pharaoh's Gift. We have 2 other ones we can draw, got a lot of things. Ooh, good call there. So what he did there was, we'll go ahead and say no attackers, because this guy, if we click this, see that little red thingy that points at him, means that creature will do 0 damage this turn, so it's pointless to attack. But Blink of an Eye says return a target non-land permanent to its owner's hands. If the spell was kicked, draw a card. He couldn't kick it, only had 3 mana up, but if you pick up a token, it's not a card, so when you pick it up, it's gone forever. It's kind of like an unsummon, just another 1 blue mana cost, pick up a target creature. Really good against token decks. And it may seem pretty scary to some people because, you know, we're sitting here with super spoopy stuff. We're up against a Gideon, we're up against a Teferi? Tefari? God damn it, I don't know. I said it correctly earlier, I swear. The other issue that this guy's running into is we've got a God's Pharaoh Gift out. We're gonna go ahead and play Champion of Wits. That allows us to draw 2 cards, and then discard 2 cards. Hopefully we don't draw a gate, or we're actually gonna be able to draw 3 cards. We only have to discard 2. We will use this to draw 2 cards and discard a card. We're looking for another Angel of Invention. Can't find it. We'll discard that, and we'll play our Strategic Planning. We'll use this to, we'll use this to pay 1 blue. None of these, but we'll go ahead and put this in our hand. And we'll actually, we won't tap to get more. We're bound to hit it, right? I think this is okay, just attack for 2. So we'll go to combat. We'll go ahead and target another Minister of Inquiries, just to make sure we have enough energy out forever, ever. And this creature cannot do any damage due to that, but we don't like that. So our number 1 priority right now is to kill this Gideon. We also want to be doing damage to this, I'll call him Tef. So Gideon's gone, that means that this creature is free to do work, son. Now he's gonna have to answer to a lot of creatures out in the field, which if Fumigate will do the job, but then that's gonna leave open God Pharaoh's Gift again for another turn. Next turn we're gonna be able to Strategic Planning, not to mention I can Champion of Wits the God Pharaoh's Gift and draw a crap ton of cards, and we're bound to hit some more angels. I mean, we just have to, right? We've only got 23 cards in our hand, or in our deck, and we've got a lot of land already. Okay, so we've got a lot of mana untapped, and he's also got 4 cards in his hand. Cast Out.
Cast Out.
Incredibly good card. We don't have to deal with the Tef anymore. Let's see if he wants to try to counter this. We could also cast out their Cast Out and grab my Search of Azcanta back. That way in the next upkeep, I definitely have 7 cards in my graveyard, and it'll transform, and then I can start searching for stuff even more. But we're gonna go ahead and grab the Tef. So we're gonna grab our Sunscor's Champion. He's probably got up a Settle the Wreckage, which exiles all attacking creatures. So we're gonna swing for 10. This is gonna get lethal on next turn. He'll probably Settle the Wreckage here. That way I do 0 damage to him. I'll grab 2 land out of my deck, and that's gonna thin down my deck even more to get what I want. There's Settle the Wreckage, exile all attacking creatures, and grab that many lands. So we can grab 2 lands. So we'll grab it. Look at this, dude. We've only got 1 more land in our deck. That's not right, is it? Oh, the rest is in my graveyard. And we're gonna go ahead and Strategic Planning. You know what? We may, nah. We'll grab another God's Pharaoh Gift. Screw it. We put that out, we're gonna be able to get 2 creatures out of the next turn. We've got a crap ton of mana to use it, so why not? And it's gonna be absolutely amazing if this turn he plays Fumigate. Probably won't, but that's whatever. And I don't think we can mill any more of our deck, because we're getting kinda sketched right now. Because if we mill ourselves down so far and he survives long enough, it can just be rough. Gain 2 life, draw a card, fair enough. I think we could honestly kill him next turn. We're gonna be able to throw Angel of Invention. It's gonna be a 6/6, which will actually be a 7/7. This will be a 7/7. That's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 damage swinging next turn. He does have 2 wide open though. What other creature do I have that I can bring out? That's still a bit of a B. So we'll just save that. So first things first, another God's Pharaoh's Gift. If he counters that, he's dead. We already have a creature that we want to grab. I think actually he is dead, yeah, right? We go to combat, grab this Angel of Invention, give him +2 or 2 +1/+1 counters. And we got him. This deck is insane, dude. Like, the fact that you can, like, just play these Angel of Inventions, I mean, hell, they're only 5 mana cost. That's reasonable. Let me look how much freaking mana I had. But when you kill them, then you bring out an artifact that just passively just reses people and they come out and they have haste. It's insane. And when you get a God Pharaoh's Gift to stick and you bring an Angel out, a control deck is wetting their pants because they have to deal with the God's Pharaoh's Gift because it's just going to progressively get worse and worse. But they also have to deal with this 6/6 creature that's going to be swinging at them with Vigilance and freaking Lifelink. It's insane. That's all I can say about this deck. I love it. It's a little bit combo-y, a little bit of RNG, and a lot of bit of fun. Again, remember, it is the 11th for the giveaway/stream, so keep an eye out for it. It'll be between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Drop by the stream, twitch.tv/KamiVS, links always in the description below for my Twitch. And come by and chill, help me brew some decks up. We only have a short amount of time. I want to try out some fun decks. I'll have every card available to me. It'll be so much fun. If you like Magic, you gotta be there. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.
Cast out.
Hey, thanks for watching. I'm not gonna be one of those people who asks you to like and subscribe, so I'm not gonna ask.